What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're doing something a little bit different, something I don't think I've touched upon since like the first week of release of this game. That is the Championships mode. This is where you can do like a bunch of different events and stuff like that. We're going to do the Sprint Championship. Essentially, these are all pretty much reverse grid races, so you get 5 laps. We're going to jump in the Ferrari because I want to be doing more overtaking than being overtaken, if that makes sense. So I think the first race is random grid, so I don't know where we're going to be starting, but from there on in, wherever you are in the championship, that will be reversed, and that will be the starting grid. So if I win the first race, I'll be starting last. If I finish 10th, I'll probably be starting 11th. So, there you go. That is the rules and a basic outline of the championship. Overall, this is going to be so close, and we're going to have to really come through the field if we want to win this championship. Let's go to the first race.
What a treat we have in store for you as we get this Sprint Championship underway. Short races, reverse grids, no mandatory pit stops. Well, the only way to win is to fight it out on the track.
So we've got a pretty mixed up grid for the start of this one. Sebastian Vettel, who I thought I was going to be piloting for this race, starting like P5 or 6. So he's going to be the favourite to win this first race. Away we go for the Japanese Grand Prix and round 1 of the Sprint Racing Champion. I don't even know what the name of the championship is anymore. Let's call it the Reverse Grid Championship, because there will probably be more than one episode coming of this, maybe 2. We'll have to wait and see. But around the outside we go, into 16th place already. Let's see if we can negotiate this Sauber, who is going very, very slowly through this middle sector. It must be said, of all the front runners, the only person who seems to be in the vicinity of me is Valtteri Bottas, who started 19th place. So Hamilton, Vettel, both are Red Bulls. They're going to be pretty well placed for this Grand Prix, given how much further up the grid they started. That Stroll going wide there into the gravel trap. I thought he was going to spin out into my path, but thankfully we both survive. At this point, I didn't know that damage was off. I was just carrying on as if damage was on, which is a good way to go about things. I don't think you should change your driving style whether damage is on or off. I think at all times you do want to avoid making collisions with cars, and I think that is the best way to go. But we get to the end of the first lap. We're now putting pressure on Esteban Ocon as we try and go around the outside. There's a bit of contact as he forces us off the track, and I was just trying to keep a wheel inside the white line so that I could keep it legal, if that made sense. But we got past him. We got past Wehrlein as well, and into the top 10 at the end of the first lap. Very solid progress. Obviously, overtakes are going to come much easier at the start of these Grand Prix versus later on when we start to encounter faster cars who are already up the field, for example, Lewis Hamilton. So, yeah, let's see if we can follow him through and make the most of this race. It must be said as well, I was running with a setup for this one. I think I was using like a Hungary one. So I had like, I don't know, 811 wings, or 611 wings, sorry, on the car. And as you can see, we slightly struggled to overtake in a straight line. Yes, we got past Van Dorn there in a straight line, but we were really pushing it there. Rich Rev, Slipstream, and we only just managed to get past the McLaren Honda. So, for the rest of this episode, oh Jesus, there's a Haas that spun out there in the middle sector, and here I thought, oh, I've got front wing damage. But yeah, little to my realization, damage was off. But we slow it down here. You can see Vettel avoids, Hamilton avoids, I don't avoid Hamilton though, and yeah, we escape damage. But yeah, for the rest of these races, I decided to turn off any kind of setup. So I'm running with a higher downforce one for this one, but for future races in this series, I'll be running with a stock setup just so it's completely fair with the AI. If anything, this setup is probably hindering me more than anything because I can't really overtake. But we dive up the inside of Hamilton into the hairpin. It's side by side for the two of us as we head into the spoon curve. I really just had to cut there just to leave him enough space, but I think it's inevitable here that Hamilton's going to get me back. That Mercedes is so strong in a straight line when it comes to base performance. It is unreal. Career mode is a different story with all the upgrades we've applied, but Mercedes in the stock 2017 format, they are an absolute weapon. Max Verstappen sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, so he's poised well to possibly get a podium or maybe even a race win in this one. Ricciardo gets overtaken by Vettel just up the road. I'm still having to defend from Hamilton on the last lap as we go into turn 1. Hold the inside line with a massive, massive drift, and that is P6. So yeah, as this race has unfolded, I've really struggled to make any more progress. Hamilton smashes it up the inside, gets the spot back, but we dive him back into the final chicane, and that is, just about P6 as a bit of contact was made. So yeah, we made so much progress on the first lap, like making 10 positions, but those final 2 laps, we didn't find any, and it's P6.
So after a day of mixed fortunes up and down the field, we bring today's race to a close. I can see them on their way out to the podium now. Force India have really come a long way in this sport, and what a special race this was to see them earn that top spot.
So there you go, Sergio Perez is your race winner for the Japanese Grand Prix. Max Verstappen second, Sebastian Vettel in third. That's actually pretty disappointing from Seb in third. He started very close to the front runners, but Sergio in the end had just enough in hand, 4/10 to Max Verstappen, and he will be starting last place for the next race. So basically an inverted grid, so Lance Stroll and Romain Grosjean will be starting at the front of the grid. I think I'll be starting in about 14th place. So once again, I'll have a lot of work to do, but thankfully I'll be starting in front of the people who outscored me in this first race, so it should be potentially a little bit easier. Let's see the grid for the next race.
We're almost ready to go then, and this is what the starting grid looks like for today's race. Lance Stroll lines up on pole position, with Romain Grosjean alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Sainz, Massa, Marcus Ericsson, and Alonso, Wehrlein, Kvyat, Bottas, and Esteban Ocon, Van Dorn, Magnussen, Nico Hülkenberg, and Hamilton, a Ferrari, Ricciardo, Jolyon Palmer, and Sebastian Vettel. Verstappen and Sergio Perez rounds off the grid.
Okay, so here we are ready for the next race. This is the Brazilian Grand Prix. This time, the front of the field is littered with a lot of slow cars. I think Lance Stroll and Romain Grosjean are probably your best chance of getting a race win today. 5 red lights and away we go for race number 2, starting from 15th place. Basically, all we've got to do is, I think, get close to the top 5. If we can get a top 5 in this one, then we'll be looking pretty good. All we need to do is outscore the people who have outscored us in the first race, and we should be in a pretty good championship position. So we'll see how we go. Though if there are people who are in slow cars and getting 25 points, and they'll be ahead of me technically in the championship. So I really don't know how this one is going to go, but we just need to make sure we make as much progress as we can in every single race and just pick up points where we can, and we might win the championship that way. It is always a little bit easier for the player to overtake cars, and we're going to have to make full use of that. But in saying that, guys like the Mercedes, they're going to be quite good at overtaking as well with their really good top-end speed. There's a Mercedes up the field there. That's Bottas, who is in 7th place already. So yeah, he might even challenge for the win if I don't make too much progress. But yeah, already, first lap, pretty much over, 10th place. Just like the Japanese Grand Prix, we're able to get ourselves inside the points fairly quickly. It's that final 2 or 3 laps when you're overtaking really quick cars that makes all the difference in how many points you can score in these races. But for us, I think we'll be able to attack a little bit more. We have a bit more straight line speed, 6.6 wings, stock default setup like all the other AI cars are running, and the Ferrari is no slouch in a straight line either. So we should be able to make pretty good progress. There's no excuses with this one, so we'll see how we go. Esteban Ocon is up next. Force India is really strong in a straight line as well, so we will have to get this done in the corners, up the inside, into the medium speed right-hander. And it's going to be side by side for the two of us. Hopefully leaves me enough space, and as we head into the hairpin, we should have this one pretty much all sewn up, and that is 8th place. So next up is Fernando Alonso. This one should be fairly easily. That stock McLaren is so slow in a straight line, and we'll make full use of that. Fastest lap of the Grand Prix as well. I was pretty surprised about that. Surprised Bottas didn't get that, possibly being held up by Ericsson, who he pretty much rounds up now, and we're still trying to round up Alonso. Really surprised that I couldn't get him on the previous straight, but now with DRS, we finally get the move done into turn 4. That is P7, and next up is Marcus Ericsson. This is going to be an absolute walk in the park here. Look at how slow he is at the fast right-hander. Pretty much, oh, GP2 car. That's how slow he is. It's ridiculous. But anyway, we cut onto lap 4. Quickly running out of time here, but we are slowly catching up to this big train of cars here. So hopefully we can get a big flurry of overtakes here as we dive up the inside of Carlos Sainz. That will potentially be P5. He gives me a bit more of a squeeze than what Esteban Ocon did. But we still get the move done anyway, P5. Next up is Bottas. We're just following Bottas through if we can. And looks like we might get him here. If he doesn't make the move on Massa, he's looking left, he's looking right. I'm going to dive to the inside and see if I can catch him napping. Oh, that's so close. The hand gets thrown up in frustration. And Bottas does hold on. Massa is getting away as well. So it looks like either Stroll or Grosjean is still winning this one. I haven't encountered either of those two guys, but we'll dive to the inside at this left-hander. Job. Oh, it's not done yet. That Bottas is so... He's really good at hanging on, isn't he? But next up is Massa. We'll go to the inside here. The Williams is actually really slow in the corners. Their aero is really, really horrible. Probably on par with like the Sauber. So it is quite easy to overtake those guys. But when it comes to straight line performance, it's actually very, very equal between the Williams and the Ferrari. And so it's going to be a bit of a drag race here between myself and Lance Stroll. Up to the line, Rich Revs. We've got enough fuel to do so. DRS, he covers the inside, but he blocks the middle of the track. I lose all my momentum, and that is the race. But thankfully, out of all that, we still managed to get a podium. So 15 points. I'm not too sure where that puts us championship-wise. I don't think that's enough to build up to 25 points. We only got 6th place in the last one, so I think we might be a few points behind both Grosjean and also Sergio Perez, who won the last race. He gets 20th in this one. So, yeah, it just shows how close this championship is going to be. Grosjean leads in the Haas, which is one of the slower cars in the field. Sergio Perez, 2nd place. Myself in 3rd. Max Verstappen very close as well, P4. He's had a very consistent run so far. And Ferrari leading the constructors. So, yeah, 2 races in, and it's pretty unpredictable.
Pascal Wehrlein lines up on pole position, and Marcus Ericsson completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Van Dorn, Kvyat, Kevin Magnussen, and Hulkenberg, Alonso, Ocon, Hamilton, and Carlos Sainz, Ricciardo, Bottas, Felipe Massa, and Palmer, Vettel, Stroll, Max Verstappen, and a Ferrari. Perez and Roman Grosjean starts from the back of the grid.
Okay, so this is race number 3, and bear in mind this is a 6-race championship, so if you guys want to see the next 3 races in another video, then be sure to let me know. Leave a like as well if you do enjoy these types of videos, but we'll see how this championship unfolds with this 3rd race. Away we go for the US Grand Prix. We've got an all-Sauber front row, so I really hope for their sake they can actually get a race win. That would be absolutely insane to see a stock Sauber winning a F1 2017 race. How amazing would that be? But for us so far, the start has not been that great, only moving up a couple of positions off the first corner into P15. And yeah, we do have a lot of work to do. I'm not too sure how easy it is to overtake around the Circuit of the Americas. I find this track to be very strong for the AI, so we might have a tougher time of things. And this, especially like this S section, is really hard to overtake cars, so we'll see. Dirty air may well play a factor in this one, but when it comes to overtaking, it's all going to come in this like middle to 3rd sector. All these slow speed corners really do promote side-by-side battling and overtakes. Bottas is on the inside. We switch to the other side and attempt to get the move done. He's still holding it there on the left-hand side. No, he completely backs out of it, so really surprising move there from Bottas to completely give up that place. But yeah, we do hold on for the moment. So 11th place, make that 12th, make that 11th. I'm not too sure. I'm just making it up as I go along here. That's Alonso pretty much done and dusted. I think my fellow Australian, Daniel Ricciardo, is up next, so we'll see what we can do with him. Max Verstappen is the danger man, of course, in the Red Bull, and only just a few points behind me as well, so we'll see what we can do with him. But yeah, it's P10, and it's taken a little bit longer to get there this time, so yeah, like I said, struggling a little bit at this US Grand Prix, but yeah, we'll see if we can dive up the inside of Ricciardo here. This is somewhat of an overtaking zone, but it does mean that if you do go for the move, it'll leave you pretty vulnerable on this straight due to not really getting a good exit. But the Ferrari is a little bit stronger in a straight line than the Red Bull, so I think we do have that move pretty much covered off. We get to the next braking zone, and already we're ready to go on the attack. That is how much the AI are squabbling in these Grand Prix. It is just absolutely mad. And if you guys have seen my F1 2006 series, you guys will know that the 2017 AI are really quite tame compared to the guys on the old game. The amount of crashes and just incidents that I saw was just on another level. I'm surprised that we haven't seen any kind of crashes as of yet. Alright. I'll just shut up then. I won't bring anything up. I won't complain about the lack of crashes, because I've just put the commentator's curse on myself. Thank you very much, Ben. That is a great job. We've got to do all that work again that we've been working so hard to do in the last 3 laps. It's just back to square one, isn't it? And now we're getting tangled up with the other Haas of Romain Grosjean. Well, it's all fallen apart in this final race, hasn't it? This is just... it's brilliant. But thankfully, if you look at the mini-map, you can see just how, like, how congested this this sector of the track is. There are literally no gaps. It is a 20-man train still on lap 4. So at least we have that to be thankful for. We can still recover a few points in this Grand Prix. Let's just pray that both of the Saubers are going to occupy 1 and 2 in this championship, in this race, and take away points from the Red Bulls, my teammate, the Mercedes, because at this stage we could be falling a long way behind the A-Bull. I can see a Sauber off in the distance now, so I think he might not... yeah, he's not going to be getting too many points, is he? So, yeah, even in the space of 5 laps, the AI are able to make such solid progress. And one slip up from myself, and it's almost looking like it's all over. But, yeah, we're desperate now. We're desperate to get back through the field. We do the under and over on Carlos Sainz. Next up is Bottas. Bottas is making no progress in that Mercedes. If anything, he's got no excuse. He should be able to fly past cars on the straights, but he's not doing so. Next up is Ericsson, side by side with Ricciardo. That is not a great way to battle. It just holds everyone up, doesn't it? But we slide past him. Oh, Jesus. His high-speed performance is just absolutely atrocious, and I've lost the back end like mad. I think the tyres have just overheated a little bit too much there. I had the incident on the previous lap, or 2 laps ago, and then I had that tank slapper, which really overheated the tyres. 120 degrees on those tyres. It's almost at the point of melting. But anyway, through the final corner, a pretty disastrous race. 2 points. Our championship might be in tatters.
And look at this, they're coming out now. Toro Rosso have developed something of a reputation for forging exciting talent, and we can see that here. An incredible victory.
Danny Kvyat wins a reverse grid race in the space of 5 laps, and Crofty thinks he's the next Sebastian Vettel, who is going to take F1 by storm. But anyway, yeah, he won the race anyway. Pascal Wehrlein got on the podium. Massive shout out to him. In a Sauber to do that, that is absolutely incredible what he has managed to pull off there. Esteban Ocon on the podium as well in second, and we dropped to 4th in the drivers' standings. And all of a sudden, Danny Kvyat leads the championship. So, I guess in the end, it doesn't matter how consistent you are, as long as you start relatively close to the front of the field, due to a low championship position. If you can win a race, you are leading the championship essentially. But you can see down there, Valtteri Bottas down in 16th place. He will be starting in like P5 for the next one, so he's going to be well poised to possibly take the championship lead after the next race. So, tune into the next episode if you want to see... do you want to see more of this championship? There are another 3 races, so let me know if you want to see how this concludes. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. And I'll see you guys for a brand new F1 video very soon.